Hi, it's Charles from Novak Migration. Today a few words about Australian citizenship for New Zealanders living in Australia. So, essentially, every New Zealander who is coming to Australia who is not an Australian citizen or permanent resident is being granted upon arrival to Australia the temporary subclass 444 visa. This visa does not limit how long New Zealander can stay in Australia, but because this visa does not entitle its holder to many benefits which are available to Australians, many New Zealanders are considering to obtain Australian visa citizenship. So here I will explain what the New Zealander can do to become an Australian citizen. So whether the New Zealander could become an Australian citizen depends might depend on when they arrived to Australia. If New Zealander was in Australia before 1st of September 1994, might be considered as a former permanent resident. Okay, in this situation, New Zealander would have to regain permanent residency and then might become eligible for Australian citizenship. If New Zealander was in Australia or on before 26th of February 2001, New Zealander could be considered as eligible New Zealand citizen, also called protected special category 444 visa holder, and may apply for the citizenship straight away, does not have to become a permanent resident. Those who have arrived to Australia after 26th of February 2001 would have to become a permanent resident first, because before they could get Australian citizenship. All right. So let's say those who were in Australia before 1st of September 1994 were regarded as exempt non-citizen under Australian migration law and are now considered to be former permanent residents. Okay. So if you have visited Australia as a New Zealand citizen before this date, you may apply to the Department of Home Affairs to have your permanent resident status reinstated. This is done by applying for resident return visa. If RRV would be granted, then you might become eligible for the citizenship after 1 year, but you would have to live in Australia total 4 years before applying for the citizenship, right? Continuously, more or less. I'll get to that. So eligible New Zealand citizens, if you have been in Australia on 26th of February 2001 on a special category visa, or if you have lived at least 12 months before this date in 2 years before this date, or if you have got a Centrelink certificate from before 26th of February 2004 that shows you are living in Australia, you might be considered as the eligible New Zealand citizen. So if you're the eligible New Zealand citizen, you don't have to become a permanent resident to apply for the citizenship. You can apply for the citizenship straight away. New Zealanders who are not eligible New Zealand citizens or haven't been in Australia before 1st September 1994 must become an Australian permanent resident before they might become eligible for Australian citizenship. There are a few different types of Australian permanent residency visas which might be available to New Zealanders. Okay, let's start with 189 New Zealand Stream visa. So to be eligible for the skilled independent 189 New Zealand Stream visa, you must hold a special category visa, 444. You must have been living in Australia for 5 years before the date of application. You must have started residency in Australia on or before 19th of February 2016. Okay, if you have arrived after this date, you are not eligible for this visa. You must have a taxable income at or above the income threshold for all 4 income years before lodging an application, unless claiming an exemption. There are not so many exemptions. Okay, you will also have to meet health, character, and security checks. The income threshold at the very moment is $53.9 thousand. The other types of permanent residency visas which might be eligible to New Zealanders, subclass 186, which is ENZ visa under the direct entry stream, partner visa, subclass 888, and the same which are available for any other applicant. Subclass 189 visa, 186 visa. Also provisional visa are available for New Zealanders, 494, 491, but I'm not sure why New Zealander would go ahead with any of this if they can go with 186, but well, these are eligible. These are available for New Zealanders. So if New Zealander would become the permanent resident, or if New Zealander is considered an eligible New Zealand citizen, to apply for the citizenship by conferral, a person must have been living in Australia on a valid visa for the past 4 years. So any visa, could be 444 or any other visa. But must have been a permanent resident or eligible New Zealand citizen for the past 12 months. So let's say 4 years in Australia or any visa, but within these 4 years, last 12 months, must have been an eligible New Zealand citizen or permanent resident, okay? And additionally, cannot be away from Australia for more than 12 months in total in the past years, so within these 4 years, including no more than 90 days in total in the past 12 months. So away from Australia, no more than 12 months within 4 years, but no more than 90 days within 12 months as a permanent resident or eligible New Zealand citizen. Okay, so if you would fulfill the the residency requirement, you might become eligible for the Australian citizenship. All right, so if you would need to discuss your situation, you can give us a call and or send an emails. Any questions, feel free to post them under the video. Thank you very much and see you soon.